What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to GAA Fan TV News. I hope you're all doing wonderfully well during this lockdown period, of course. The weather is shining, but unfortunately, we cannot do anything at the moment. It's not great, is it? But yeah, guys, of course, back again with some latest news and updates from the GAA. A couple of updates obviously coming in regards to this whole situation, in regards to what's going to happen with Gaelic football and hurling this year. Obviously, if you watched my video last year, we did speak initially about there being a special congress that took place on Friday, and that's pretty much where we will start today's video. Now, the GAA have actually concluded that they do actually now have the powers, after a few laws were passed, that they actually will be able to change the GAA season, the format of the GAA season, in any way they see fit. They can abandon the Tier 2 and Tier 3 championships. They can go to an open draw straight knockout system with no backdoor for both football and hurling. Now, obviously, this was something we obviously widely expected anyway. We didn't really get any details on what they're actually going to be planning in regards to whether the GAA is going to be behind closed doors for this year, whether they are going to go ahead and implement this straight knockout system that we very much expect. And obviously, we've no details over when that's going to happen. Now, obviously, we did speak last week about the possibilities of the GAA season starting in September, but there's some who even believe it still might not even happen. ONeill, former GAA president, came out in the Irish Times recently, and he actually said that I'd like history to record that the GAA put its people first. And he was pretty much saying that obviously the GAA has a wide history of having the All-Ireland Championships played for the past 130 years. It's been played every year. But of course, he was saying, look, listen, that at the end of the day, we need to put the people first. We need to put people's health first. And if it means that we abandon the GAA Championship this year, then so be it. He went on to say, with a year when you could lose, as they have in parts of Italy, almost the entire grandparents' generation. He said, it's frightening, and the thought of losing anybody that you don't have to lose for the sake of keeping the history books up to date is awful. We can deal with the 2020 championships anyway we choose, play them in 2021 or whatever, but I'd like history to record that the GAA put its people first over everything. That said, we'd lead our people through it as best we can, and we'll be there at the end of it to play our games. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, look, listen, the GAA, it's looking more and more likely that it could actually not happen. It's starting, there's a bit of a swing in the past couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, I would have said that I still think it's possible enough that we will still see the GAA season in maybe September, October. Of course, Simon Harris did actually come out recently, one of the health ministers there, and he was saying that actually it's very unlikely that there will be any large gatherings in the rest of 2020 until we see some sort of vaccine or treatment for this virus. And yeah, of course, obviously that would mean that there would be no GAA action. The only likelihood would be to play these games behind closed doors. But just like we were saying last week, of course, again, you would still have 15 players on each pitch. You'd have management there. You'd still have 50 to 60 people who would still be in close range with each other. So, I'm still not too sure even if that can happen. And of course, even, we go into situations further down the line, maybe when Kerry would have to travel up to Croke Park, or Cork would have to come up, or different circumstances centred around that. It would increase risk, wouldn't it? Because obviously you'd have 15 players who've been in Kerry, and they'd be coming up playing against 15 players who are from Dublin, and the chance, of course, spreading this virus, of course, from that, of course, would increase, wouldn't it? So yeah, I mean, it's looking unlikely in some ways. And the GAA, a spokesperson of the GAA, even came out, according to an article on the 42, said that games behind closed doors are not seriously even being considered by the GAA at this stage. And of course, that was in response to what Simon Harris did say during the week. Speaking on Off the Ball, the GAA's Director of Communications, Alan Milton, says they are certainly hopeful that GAA games could be played in 2020, while also conducting that the Minister has a responsibility to outline what he sees are threats and realities that all citizens of Ireland have to face. So again, we don't know too much, and there really isn't too much details to go into compared with last week or the week before. We're very much still in the same situation. There was actually a poll that came out in the Irish Independent that was asking GAA fans, would they like to see a GAA championship behind closed doors? And 57% of people actually said no, and 43% of people said yes. I think the reality is, of course, none of us want to see a GAA championship behind closed doors. We want to see it. We want to see fans. We want to see everyone there. But, I mean, how is that going to be possible? So, again, I'm not too sure what the context of this is. Do we wait till October, December? I mean, again, November, again, it would feel like it's very late. It's very, very hard to know what's actually going to happen. Of course, Michael Conroy, ex-Mayo star, he actually came out recently and he said he doesn't see the GAA returning until social distancing is relaxed. Unless they lift the ban on the 2-meter social distancing, I don't think this can go ahead. And yeah, I mean, he was kind of reiterating the point, what I was saying there. You have 20 or 30 lads in a dressing room, or you have lads marking each other. There is no one going to stand 2 meters away from each other and and let you win the ball and kick it over the bar. It'd be a different game. And yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the situation. I think that's the situation that all sport very much finds itself in at the moment. And obviously, we all want to see sports return. I mean, I'd probably watch the National Frisbee Championship at this stage if there was something like that available. Maybe there is, I don't know. Or maybe go to Belarus, you might find something going on there. But to be perfectly honest, yeah, I mean, that's the situation we find ourselves in, unfortunately. In my opinion, it looks unlikely at this stage to know exactly when the GAA will return. And I've kind of, I've put it in my head now that the possibility that it might not return in 2020. We might not see a championship season, which at the start of the year, if someone had told me that, I wouldn't never have believed them. But look, listen, it is what it is, I suppose. Now, of course, in the last video, I did say that I would read out some comments that came in from the last news video. So this comment here came in from Johnny Man. He said, I'd say no GAA for the summer, and if there is, it'll probably be in autumn, start of winter. I don't think there'll be any crowd, even if they're allowed, because I don't think people will want to rush into a filled Croke Park or even half filled. And I think that's a fair point as well. I think even if people could go into Croke Park, I don't think anyone would really want to at this stage. I'm not too sure how that would, it would be the same as myself. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go into Croke Park where, you've got thousands upon thousands of people all around you. It would be a cesspool in many ways to spread this virus, unfortunately. Gallo Glass did respond. He said, yes, I was thinking that. I can't see a full house for the All-Ireland or any match. You could have a limit of 40,000 for the final and space people out throughout the stadium, but it wouldn't work. Probably half that would turn up, and it would just be a box-ticking exercise. Yeah, again, I just don't see how that would happen, unfortunately. You'd still, if you had situations like that, you'd have stewards there who would have to try and organise people. You'd obviously be putting them massively at risk. You'd obviously have your local bunch of idiots who unfortunately wouldn't obey these rules and would just conjugate everywhere. You'd probably have some of these idiots who would think it would be great to actually swap seats and start moving around and all sorts. It would just be absolutely chaotic, unfortunately, and I just don't see how that would happen. Obviously, even having 40,000 people there, it just wouldn't happen, in my opinion. Of course, you could have people. The only thing maybe you could have is 1 or 2 people who would be in the box area, in the VIP area. But I mean, that would be crazy in itself. Imagine just having 1 or 2 spectators, the GAA president or something like that. I really don't know how it would work, and it would be crazy in many ways. But look, listen, that's obviously the reality that we're in. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Look, listen, hopefully everyone stays safe, stays healthy. We have no idea when the GAA is going to return. It's probably 50-60% chance maybe that it could not happen this year. I know there has been talks, obviously, of the restrictions being lifted on May the 5th, and we have been making some positive progress towards that. But just in terms of Gaelic football and any sort of sport in the country, I just don't see how it's going to happen at the moment until maybe we see some sort of treatment or vaccine. Obviously, we'll have to wait until we see what happens. But anyway, lads, that is going to be the end of the video. Do let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this video, what you thought of some of the stories I've brought up. Let me know, obviously, if there's any kind of solutions or plans you think should be put in place for the GAA this year. And yeah, lads, my name is Aaron, and of course, I will chat to you all next time.